In a shocking turn of events, Kimmie M. Scott has officially filed for divorce from Maurice Scott, and the reality TV world is in absolute chaos. Whispers of betrayal, emotional neglect, and hidden secrets are spreading like wildfire. But what's even more surprising? Maurice, once the confident and composed husband, is now begging for one more chance. What went so wrong behind the scenes of this seemingly rock-solid marriage? Let's rewind the tape. Kimmie and Maurice Scott, the beloved couple from Love and Marriage, Huntsville, have always been viewed as one of the most grounded and stable duos on the show. Amidst the drama, infidelity rumors, and explosive confrontations involving other cast members, Kimmie and Maurice were often seen as the calm in the storm, two professionals navigating the chaos of reality TV with class, unity, and mutual respect. But recently, cracks began to show. Subtle signs, initially overlooked by many fans, are now being pieced together like a puzzle. Cryptic Instagram posts, distant body language, and emotional detachment on screen. What was once speculation has now become headline news. Kimmie has officially filed for divorce. I end today's deep dive. We're peeling back every layer of this unraveling relationship. You'll discover the real reasons behind Kimmie's shocking decision, what happened behind closed doors that ultimately pushed her over the edge, Maurice's emotional response and desperate plea for reconciliation, and how the entire Love and Marriage Huntsville cast is reacting to the news. We've gathered concrete facts, social media evidence, and exclusive insider reports that paint a very different picture than the one we saw on screen. So buckle up, because this isn't just a breakup. It's a bombshell that could shake the entire Love and Marriage franchise to its core. To the outside world, Kimmie and Maurice were the power couple of Huntsville, a nurse and a lawyer, both educated and ambitious. They didn't just look the part of a strong black couple, they embodied it. But beneath the surface, subtle red flags had been waving long before anyone noticed. Let's start with Kimmie's social media. Over the past year, fans noticed a major shift. Gone were the affectionate posts about Maurice, the playful selfies, and lighthearted captions. Instead, Kimmie's feed began focusing on personal growth, her battle with breast cancer, self-care affirmations, and messages of independence. While empowering, many followers couldn't help but ask, "Where's Maurice?" At the same time on the show, something else began to unfold. Their once fluid chemistry started to feel stiff. Conversations between them were tense, almost businesslike. Maurice, often portrayed as logical and somewhat emotionally detached, began coming across as dismissive, especially when Kimmie opened up about her emotional needs. In several episodes, Kimmie expressed feeling unheard and unsupported, particularly when discussing her health battles. Maurice, in contrast, often redirected or minimized the conversation, focusing instead on work or logistical matters. Fans began to speculate. Was this just the stress of being on reality TV while managing a household, or was there something deeper? Something fundamentally broken in their communication. Then came the bombshell moment that shook viewers. Kimmie confessed on air that she didn't feel like a priority. She revealed she felt her emotional well-being was being sidelined in favor of Maurice's career and the show. That confession hit hard. Viewers who had once rooted for them began to see the cracks forming, cracks that had likely been there for a long time. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about emotional neglect. Behind the scenes, rumors were swirling about Maurice's behavior when the cameras weren't rolling. From alleged late-night outings to unconfirmed whispers of flirtations outside the marriage, fan forums lit up with speculation. None of it was confirmed, but all of it added fuel to a fire that was clearly burning behind closed doors. What made this situation even more complex was the fact that Kimmie had stood by Maurice during some of his darkest times. She defended him publicly, protected their brand, and maintained grace. Even when she was clearly hurting, the question remains. What pushed her to finally walk away, just when it seemed like things couldn't get more tense? Maurice's reaction to the divorce filing added an entirely new layer to the drama. When news of Kimmie filing for divorce first broke, fans were stunned. But no one seemed more blindsided than Maurice Scott himself. According to sources close to the couple, Maurice was not expecting Kimmie to take legal action, while tension between them had been building for months, both on and off screen. Maurice allegedly believed they were simply going through a rough patch. In his mind, they had weathered worse storms. Kimmie's decision to file reportedly caught him completely off guard, and insiders say it sent him spiraling into a full-blown panic. In the immediate aftermath, Maurice reportedly reached out to Kimmie multiple times, not just through lawyers or formal channels, but personally. Direct texts, late-night calls, even unexpected visits. The message? Don't do this. We can fix it. But here's where it gets emotional. Sources say Maurice didn't just plead. He begged. This wasn't the polished, composed man fans are used to seeing on camera. Behind the scenes, he broke down. According to one insider, he was in tears. He kept saying, "She's my whole world. I didn't think she would actually leave." Let's be clear, Maurice isn't new to crisis management. As a businessman and attorney, he knows how to control a narrative. But this wasn't business. This was his personal life unraveling, publicly, and with the love and marriage. Huntsville cameras rolling for the upcoming season. The timing couldn't have been worse. A surprising move. Maurice reportedly approached producers about scaling back his appearances, hoping to shield his family from the blowback. But it was too late. The story had already leaked. And now, he was forced to face not just Kimmie's decision, but also the court of public opinion, which wasn't exactly in his favor on social media. Viewers had a lot to say. Some empathized with his grief, recognizing that losing a partner, especially one as supportive and loving as Kimmie, is a life-altering blow, but others weren't so sympathetic. A common sentiment in the comment sections was, "Why are men always sorry after they've already done the damage?" Now, this is where things get even more complicated. Maurice's attempts to reconcile reportedly included a last-minute grand gesture. He planned a private dinner, just the two of them, and invited Kimmie with the intention of starting over. Word is, he wrote a heartfelt letter apologizing for every misstep, every moment he dismissed her feelings, every time he chose work or public image over emotional presence. He even offered to go to couples therapy, something he had allegedly resisted in the past. For Kimmie, this was monumental. She had been asking for this kind of effort for years. But was it too little? Too late? That's the question Kimmie was left to wrestle with. And while she didn't outright reject his plea in the moment, her response was somber. According to someone familiar with the conversation, Kimmie said, "I love you. I always will. But I have to love myself more now." Chilling. Powerful. Heartbreaking. This wasn't just about a failing marriage. It was about a woman choosing peace over persistence, choosing healing over holding on. But before Maurice could even regroup, things took another shocking turn, because someone from Maurice's past was about to come back with a claim that could destroy whatever chances he had left at redemption. Don't go anywhere, because in this next section, we're diving into the other woman, the explosive allegations that sent shockwaves through the LAMH, love and marriage, Huntsville community, just when it seemed like Maurice's world couldn't unravel any further. Bam! Another blow landed. And this time, it didn't come from Kimmie. It came from a voice long silenced. A woman came forward, claiming she had a past with Maurice, one that allegedly overlapped with his marriage. The rumor started on a gossip blog, the kind known for stirring drama, but also occasionally breaking real tea. At first, it was a vague post. LAMH husband caught slipping years ago. Receipts pending. The fandom brushed it off. No names were mentioned, and vague accusations come and go every season, but then the receipts dropped, screenshots, old DMs. A photo, not compromising, but close enough to raise eyebrows, allegedly showing Maurice with a woman who is definitely not Kimmie at a lounge in Atlanta. The post claimed this wasn't a one-time thing, according to the woman, who identified herself only as T for legal protection. She and Maurice were talking for months during a rough period in his marriage. Now here's where it gets messy. T claimed Maurice never explicitly said he was married. He allegedly referred to Kimmie as someone he was figuring things out with, portraying himself as emotionally unavailable but physically interested. While there was no clear evidence of physical cheating, no videos or intimate pictures, the emotional tone of their alleged conversations was enough to set social media ablaze. Kimmie's fans rushed to her defense, calling her too loyal for too long. They pointed out that she had spent years putting her trust in a man who may have been entertaining other women behind her back. Even if it wasn't physical, emotional betrayal can be just as painful, especially when you're fighting for your life, as Kimmie was during her cancer journey. All she wanted was emotional stability. Maurice, for his part, immediately denied the claims. In a now-deleted Instagram story, he wrote, "It's sad what people will do for attention. I've never disrespected my wife, and I stand on my integrity. Anyone who knows me knows where my loyalty lies." But if that was true, why delete the post? Some speculated that the network, OWN, may have advised Maurice to take it down to avoid escalating a potential legal issue, especially if the woman had more to share. Others believe Maurice was simply scrambling, trying to stop the bleeding before more receipts surfaced. And let's not forget, Kimmie is no fool. She's intelligent, intuitive, and deeply observant. Whether or not the allegations were fully accurate, it's likely that Kimmie had already sensed the shift, the subtle emotional disconnection, the late nights, the vague answers, the increasing focus on public image over intimacy. This scandal only added fuel to the fire already raging within their marriage, and according to one source, when Kimmie saw the post about the other woman, she wasn't shocked. She was just disappointed, allegedly, she told a friend. "I already knew. I just didn't have proof. And maybe I didn't even need it. I felt it every day." That statement speaks volumes. IT paints the picture of a woman who stayed quiet to protect her peace. A woman who gave grace even when she had doubts. A woman who finally said, "Enough is enough." But here's the real kicker. The moment that left fans speechless was Kimmie's next move. Not only did she avoid engaging with the gossip publicly, she also unfollowed Maurice on all platforms and removed every photo of him from her feed. IT was silent. It was swift. And it was symbolic. This wasn't just about ending a marriage. It was about reclaiming her identity. Yet just when everyone thought the divorce would move forward quietly, something shocking happened at the mediation table. Coming up next, Kimmie's final request, the one condition that left Maurice stunned. AS headlines continued to swirl, and fans dissected every move on social media. The situation between Kimmie and Maurice entered unfamiliar territory. Legal mediation. Up to this point, their conflict had played out emotionally, through silence, pleading, rumors, and revelations. But now it was official. The paperwork had been filed. Attorneys were involved. The divorce process was underway. What happened during that first closed-door mediation session, however, shocked everyone in the room, including Maurice. According to a trusted insider familiar with the situation, Kimmie came to the table composed. Not cold, just focused. She wasn't there to argue. She wasn't interested in drama. She had made peace with her decision, and it showed. Maurice, however, walked in hoping for a different outcome. Those closest to the couple say he believed there was still a chance to change her mind. That perhaps mediation would be their chance to talk one last time, face to face. But Kimmie had something else in mind. She presented a single, unwavering condition, one that would determine how amicable or how combative the divorce would become. Full transparency in all finances, including business holdings tied to the Scott family. Let that sink in. This wasn't just about dividing assets or selling a house. Kimmie, ever the intelligent and perceptive woman, wanted a full accounting of everything. Every LLC, every income stream, every investment Maurice had made, solo or in partnership, during the course of their marriage. This request wasn't just bold. It was surgical, and here's where things get even more interesting. Rumors began to surface that Maurice might not have been fully forthcoming with certain financial details throughout the marriage. Allegedly, some business endeavors were conducted under his name alone, even though Kimmie had supported, contributed to, or helped sustain those ventures in ways that weren't always on paper. She had, after all, been a constant emotional and logistical supporter, holding things down while Maurice built their public image, legal practice, and real estate ventures. BY requesting complete financial transparency. Kimmie wasn't just protecting herself. She was demanding accountability. According to reports, Maurice didn't take the request well. Insiders say he was visibly shocked, perhaps even flustered. One source claimed he muttered, "You really think I do you dirty like that?" To which Kimmie allegedly replied, "I don't want to think. I want to know." That line alone speaks volumes. Kimmie wasn't making accusations. She was drawing boundaries. She was done living in a world of assumptions and emotional second-guessing. If this marriage was ending, and it was, she wanted everything laid bare, once and for all. But here's the twist. This wasn't just about money. Insiders close to Kimmie claimed this move was symbolic. For years, she had taken Maurice at his word. Trusted him to lead. Trusted him to handle the details. Trusted him to be honest in both business and marriage. And now, at the end of it all, she was finally demanding proof, not promises, and guess what? Maurice allegedly hesitated. According to the same source, he asked for more time to gather documents, citing the complexity of his business dealings. That hesitation, intentional or not, only deepened the wedge between them. It reinforced the very doubts Kimmie had carried silently for years, that things weren't always as transparent as they seemed.